Hey y'all, and a Merry Christmas to all of you. You know, this Christmas season, and by extension, we're gonna be moving into a new decade in the 2020s. But this Christmas season and this decade, you may feel like what you do, whatever it is you're doing, isn't making a difference and isn't gonna matter in the long run. And if you just took one day off, if you just took one day to take it easy, it wouldn't matter. Maybe you're thinking if you stop doing what you're doing, it would matter because no one's gonna notice you. I mean, you're not in the limelight. You're not what people talk about. I mean, instead you're in the background, just pulling the curtain or whatever. Well, you're not in the limelight. You're not the focal point. But let me tell you a little story. Do you know one of the main reasons why the Titanic sunk? Certainly not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why the Titanic sunk. Well, experts have gone back and reviewed the Titanic. Expert metal workers, I suppose, too, have gone back and reviewed that second hole. And on the side of the boat, they've seen some rivets, and they've determined that those rivets just weren't as tight as they could have been. And because of that, when the ship hit the iceberg, these rivets were trusted to carry the whole ship. They were trusted to keep the hull intact. They were trusted to do all of that. But because the rivets weren't as tight as they could have been, or weren't treated with care, or what have you, when the Titanic hit the iceberg, the rivet just popped off. The rivet just popped off because the Titanic hit that iceberg. And when they popped off, it allowed the hole to open and the water to seep into the creaks and the cracks of the ship. That's pretty big stuff. That's pretty big stuff. Just one maintenance worker who probably was thinking along the same line that you may be thinking. He probably was thinking, oh, it doesn't matter. Or I'm not in the limelight, I'm not that important, or people don't even recognize what I do, or people aren't even gonna say anything when I do a bad job, 'cause people don't even recognize what I do as hard work as I do. But because this maintenance worker, however his job may have been, however you interpret that, because this maintenance worker didn't do a job well, and didn't tighten the rivets to their fullest extent, it ended up costing one of the greatest tragedies in American history that we still remember today. We still remember the sinking of the Titanic. A lot of people still mourn for the loss of the Titanic. A lot of people have relatives that were on the Titanic that they'll never get to see, they'll never get to meet. All because the Titanic sank, and partly because of this maintenance worker who didn't see fit to do a job well enough maybe because it wasn't the limelight, or it wasn't being talked about, or it wasn't being recognized, being acknowledged, maybe how it should have been. But yeah, that's heavy stuff. And he probably didn't intend for any of that to happen. He probably was thinking, like I said, oh, my job isn't in the limelight, or no one's gonna care if I do it this way, or if I do it that way. No one's gonna care if I don't do maybe as good a job as I could do. Or no one's gonna care about that. And that's sad that he thought that. But if this story teaches us anything, is that if we, and God put him in that position, God did put him in that position to tighten those rivets to the full extent and to do a good job of it. But because he didn't see fit, then he dishonored God. But God put him in that position. And when God puts you in a position, he expects you to do it well. He expects you to do it well. I'd want to point your attention to a verse of Scripture. Psalms 139:13. Again, Psalms 139:13. For you created me in my innermost being. David reminds us that God created us in our innermost being in our mother's womb. And we see right there that God created us. We see a reminder that God created us. And let me tell you something. God wouldn't waste his time on something that didn't have a purpose to it, that didn't have a vital purpose. He acts as rivet maker, he acts as maintenance worker. God wouldn't waste his time creating someone, intricate detail after intricate detail, creating something that was just to be forgotten, that didn't have a purpose to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't promise you that where God put you is in the limelight, or I can't promise you that what you do is going to be recognized, probably to the extent that it should be. But I can promise you, and our story backs that up, I can promise you that if you do not do your job, and if you do not fulfill your purpose, the purpose God put you in, if you do not fulfill that to the full extent, people are gonna notice. I mean, it may not be today. It may not be as explosive as the Titanic was, but people are gonna notice. I mean, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be till a month from now, but people are gonna notice. And maybe the job that you don't think is worth it, or maybe the job that you don't think is really going to be recognized by anyone, or really going to make a difference, or anything. Maybe someone needs that. I mean, I don't know who. Hindsight 2020, we can never know the extent that our lives are gonna have on people. But I can assure you and I can promise you that someone does need you. And someone does need you to do your job and to do it well, because they may be watching you. They may be watching your example. They may know you're Christian and they may be watching how you work. I mean, the way you are, they may be watching how you work, and you may be eating them by example or not even notice it. The Titanic was a great yacht for people, all because a maintenance worker, a rivet worker, didn't see fit to do a job to the full extent. And maybe God put you in the position that you're in to unknowingly save someone's life. Maybe not by your own actions, but to save someone's life through testimony and through story, and maybe even directly. I don't know. But one thing I do know, and the only thing that matters, is God put you in the position that you're in. God knit you together in your mother's womb. God knows your innermost being. God knows your innermost desires, as Psalm says, as David reminds us. And God expects us to do everything that we do, to do it for Him, not to do it for men, not to do it for people, not to do it for self-satisfaction, but to do it for Him, because He placed us in that position. Ladies and gentlemen, this Christmas, especially on this Christmas Eve, don't give up. I mean, your purpose is not seen by you, but you do have a significant and a vital and unique purpose that if you stopped fulfilling it, then people would notice. Maybe it could even cause a catastrophic effect, like it did with the Titanic, who knows. But God put you in the position where you're in to honor Him. And as children of God, we do need to honor Him. And gentlemen, I love you. God bless you. I'll see you next week. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.